Hello, Happy New Year, and I'm just going to talk about Spiral Education, which is a fantastic tool that you can see here on the screen that allows checking for understanding in the classroom, a little bit like a mini whiteboard activity, but online. I think this is going to be very, very, very useful during these 2 weeks that we have of online learning, because it allows you, as you will see, to assess your students' understanding and questioning with zero preparation. So that is fantastic. And you will be able to see all your children's responses at once without having to wait in teams to say, oh, what do you say? What are you saying? That when you do that, there is a little bit of break in the pace of the lesson. And also I think this is brilliant as well for those students who are reluctant to speak, and they would probably in lessons wouldn't speak anyway, but definitely when you're online and you're teaching a lesson in teams, they will be even shyer. So I think this is a very good way to overcome that issue. And finally as well, if you don't use something like this, you could use this probably in with a chat, but I think this is so much slicker, and I think it's actually really good, as you can see. And what I like it about it is that actually I've been using this for about a month now, and actually I use it in my own lesson. So this is perfect as well for blended learning, but of course for online, absolutely brilliant. And you will see there are other apps or tools that do the same kind of thing, like Mentimeter or Woo Clap, but I will tell you why I think this is far better. Okay, so let's start then. So the first thing you need to do, you need to go to Spiral.ac and you will need to create an account. It's free. So once you create your account and you log in, you will come up to with the home basically dashboard. And what allows you, or basically what Spiral allows you to do, is basically to create immediate response lessons in different ways. And you got all these 5 different modes. The one I always use 100% is the Quackfire Lite. Why? Because you don't need any preparation, zero preparation. So for me, that is already a winner. If you want to create more, to prepare your lesson beforehand, then you can have the quiz, which basically you can put up a PowerPoint presentation, and you can create quizzes and you can create questions to which the students need to basically respond to. You can do the same thing with the video thing. There is a fantastic video on this training made by Kirsty Right, using planning history that basically allows you to do the same. That's basically the same thing as Kirsty explains in her tutorial, but this now is using Spiral. You can put people's in teams as well, or you can do a little bit as well of discussion, interactive presentation, a little bit like the multi-format quiz. So this is something for you basically if you want to explore, and you got explanation videos as well to tell you how to do it. But I'm going to show you the Quackfire Lite because it requires zero preparation, and I think it's very, very powerful. So once you are here, the first thing you will need to do is to create your classes. So you go to class, and when you create classes, don't panic. You don't need to enter any names or anything. Literally, you just create a class. So what do? You come here and I'm gonna put my face away. You add a new class, so you click on it, you add a new class, and you're gonna give it, you're gonna call it test, chemistry, whatever your name of the class. And once you do that, you choose a subject and just save. That's it. Okay, I'm not gonna do because I already got a few ones from tests and I just don't want to mess up my board. But basically, it will look something like that. So you just basically create a name and that's it. You don't need to enter people's names or anything like that, which I think is fantastic. The students will register, you will see in a minute, with you once you start you launch your activity. So that's what you do. So the first thing you need to do in students, basically once the students log in for the first time, or not log in, join your class, a little bit like they would join a Kahoot, then you will see all the students in here that you can do a little bit of follow-up if you want to later on. So you come back to the home thing, and I'm going to launch so you click on here, and already, because I'm not doing this live, I've already set it up. It will come up here, and this is what will happen. You log on, you come to the home, you click on the light here, which looks basically, you select the class that you want to do it to, okay, and it will create this one basically for you, okay. So at the moment this was is asking you is basically go to Spiral. This is now the students need to go to Spiral and enter this code. The beauty of it as well is that because you're going to use, if you use this all the time with your students, what will happen is the code is always the same for every single class, so there is no something that changes, which I think is very good. What I've done at the moment, if we were doing this live, which as it was the plan, as many of you would have now logged in as a student, we can't do that. So what I've done, I'm going to close this. I prepared that and I logged in with my phone and with my iPad as if, okay, as you can see, so I'm like the students. So I'm pretending to be Helen and I'm pretending to be Joe. When you log in, the students will have to enter the name. I think this is very important. You got something similar to this with Mentimeter, where you can basically have a little bit of immediate response from the teacher as well, and interact with questions or with a slideshow. The problem with Mentimeter is that you don't write, basically it's anonymous. You cannot say who it is, and I've come across sometimes people writing, even trying to be funny, writing something that they shouldn't be writing, or just sometimes that someone is, you cannot have control who has done it, who hasn't done it, okay, because there's no name. Here you do have a name, so I think it's very important, so you know exactly what every person has written. And this is what you do. This is, remember, for checking for understanding. This is acting as a mini whiteboard. So the way I use it in lessons, and I'm definitely going to use it in the next 2 weeks, is that I ask the students a question. So in my setting of MFL, it could be a little translation, it could be verb. So it could be something like, how do you say in Spanish? ¿Cómo se dice en español? I have. So what I've done, everybody now imagine, instead of 2, I can have 24 little things, and I say to them, how do you say in Spanish? I have. You go, you press go, and then what the student does in the long thing is Joe is going to write, then Gwen is going to submit the answer, and Helen is going to write, is going to make it wrong. So she's going to write tango. Okay, so imagine this is my 2 students. Imagine automatically all the students here would have the 24 answers. What I like about this, very important as well, in Mentimeter or in WooClap, automatically all the answers appear. So it means some of the students can actually copy what they can see in the screen. Obviously, in online learning, you can't, well, you still can because you're sharing your screen. So they can actually copy what you're doing. While in here, you can't, because the answers are hidden until you want to reveal your answer. So normally what I do here is that I wait for everybody to write basically their answers. If you're going to say, okay, what happens if one is very quick and someone is very slow? So the ones who are quick, they basically wasting their time waiting until the slower ones basically write their answers. What I do is that in the student's version, you got the option of edit, which means the students can always improve their answer. So what I would say to them is like, okay, right, for those who finish, I can see Joe or Helen, she's written it, very, very quickly, answered, I can see some people finish very, very quickly. So I want you to write a sentence using I have in Spanish so that she can actually go. And can you see, you can see she's done it and it's saying now the answer is being edited. So she's going to be writing those, yeah, something like that. Okay, so that's basically this. So basically you can then see all the time who is editing the answer, because either they realize they made a mistake or because they are making their answer a bit more elaborate because they are waiting for other people to finish. So I think it's a very versatile app okay, that you can have that you can use. Once you do this, you know everybody has answered. What I can do now, when I want to, is I can reveal the answers. Another moment, if I want, I still, there's at the moment there are no names. So I think at the beginning, this is quite good as well, you know, to look at it. But I can go straight away and see the name. So I can go here now and say, this is correct, Joe, and it tells you it's correct. If there were more here and the device picks up that what Joe is correct, it will start coloring basically all the answers are also correct for you, so you don't need to pick on every single one saying correct. So I think that's actually really, really good. And I can see Helen write tango, so I can actually see, and then I would be able to see if I was here that maybe Helen and 4 other people wrote tango as well. So why is wrong? Spelling mistake, very careful. Helen, can you correct it? And then Helen's like, I'm gonna ask, I'm gonna tell her, you need to improve, Helen, because that wasn't correct. And I can, so Helen now, she's look at the answer, she knows it's wrong, so she can now basically, and she can submit it. I am Helen from my iPad, and then it is, and now it's correct. That's brilliant. Okay, so I can give, you can see, you know, in a scenario where I'm in online teaching, how I can have everybody's answers, and this is like a mini whiteboard that you would use in the lesson where everybody will write the answers and they will show it up. But instead of the mini whiteboard, it comes in basically in the screen. This is basically what it is. I think it is absolutely it's absolutely fantastic. I like the fact that you can hide the answers at some point, because I can say, you know, everybody basically just being quiet, okay, and now I can ask them other questions, I can talk about it, I can keep on teaching, you know, then I can reveal it again, I can hide the names, I can open the names where I want to, okay. When it just says random, it just picks up on someone randomly. So I think it's very good as well, because the way I've used this is like, okay, random, Helen, you wrote here, tengo dos gatos. Okay, everybody, is this correct? Why is this correct? It's not correct. How can this be improved? And then obviously, yeah, so I think that is, it gives you a little bit of elements in the lesson to talk about and to do a little bit of self-reflection with the stuff that you're doing. So you've got all these different activities here. You also have here at the end, okay, your summary, so you can see basically at the end in the exit thing that how many people actually, how many questions you asked, how many people actually found it too difficult, needed more practice, people that feel confident that got it right first time, people who basically needed to improve it, it needs more practice, people that have found it too difficult, people that have constantly had to be improving their answer. Then you come and you resume the question. So that's question 1, and then I'm gonna go now and I'm gonna ask another question. So what happens? Everything becomes empty again. Okay, so I come home. No, I come now and I say, okay, my question is going to be, okay, how do you say in Spanish I did? Okay, so yeah, so I'm gonna do it here. Yeah, trying to reconnect. Okay, so she's gonna write hice, right? And Joe now is gonna write hizo. So remember the question was how you say I did. So you got that, you got the same answer here. I can notice Joe and Helen were really quick, and I can see they're still missing students. So I can ask them how you made a sentence with that, in which case they basically go to their phone and they can basically, remember, they can press edit in the phone and they can improve their answer. So I think that everybody is done it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to reveal the answers, and the answers, okay, I got one hice, one is hizo. Actually, hizo is the correct one. So at the moment, show names. Joe, you got to be wrong. Can you see why it's wrong? Okay, so can you now correct this, please? So we'll go to improve. Joe now can actually write if they submit, okay, and now it's correct. Can you see when both are correct? They're now colored with the same color. Okay, so basically it's picked up, this is the same as that one. So you had a class of 24, you can actually visualize with the color coding how many people actually got it right without you having to go to every single one correct, although I can. Okay, so I think that's very nice tool. And this is really what I use Quickfire from Spiral for. It requires zero practice, is an online whiteboard device or tool, and it's actually very reliable. It works. It has worked for me 100% every single lesson. I've been using it a lot, and the feedback I got from the kids when we are in the lessons, they prefer it to the normal whiteboards anyway. So in the lessons, everybody comes out with a laptop, and we can spend sometimes 20 minutes just doing practice. So this is very good for checking for understanding, but also for retrieval practice, because you can basically throw questions from past topics, from 2 weeks ago topics, etc. Once you are finished and you finish with your lesson, you just finish your quick fire. And next time you are, and that will tell you a little bit of analysis for you. If you come back then with your class later on, say 2 days later, what you do is the same thing. You come to home, you launch the quick file. They will tell you which class. I'm going to say is the same class. It's going to be my test class. Okay, at the moment it's saying it's waiting for students. I will have to log in because the session is finished. But can you see it's always the same code for the same class? That's very good. And it keeps a record as well, which I think is very good, of all the students, and which I think is brilliant as well. So what I can do, obviously the kids, what they've done in my case is they start remembering this code all the time because it's always the same for their class. Another thing that you can do, then you can go to students, you can see all the students in your class, and actually you can go to, for example, Adele in year 10, and you can see that we used it 3 times on the 2nd of November, on the 23rd, and I can actually review, which I think is very good, all her answers as well. So I can actually come here later on and I can see basically what it was right, what it was wrong, so I can come back, okay, I can see the question 4, she didn't submit it, okay, something happened there. I can think neither for question 9. I can see basically how well she did in the translations. I can view the full data sheet for her, so 9 questions answered, 80% response received, okay. So yes, I think it tells you, and then you can tell you from that particular, on the November the 16th, I can also see, as you can see, all other students' answers for question 1. So I think this is very powerful. For question 2, for question 3 that I asked them, this is my year 10 class. For question 4, so this was translation from Spanish into English. I can actually see who did really well, who did not do so well, and etc. So I think this is actually really good as well for you to come back later on. But for me, the Quickfire Lite, wherever the other ones are really good as well, but the other ones will require some preparation for checking for understanding, thinking about the current situation where we are in at the moment. I think this is a thumbs up for me. One of the best tools I've come across for a long time. So good luck, and hopefully it's been useful for you.